I hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube yesterday, so thank you so much for that. I am super stoked about that. Yeah, thank you so much for everybody who subscribed. And if you haven't yet, then do it and I will give you a cookie. Last week I asked you to ask me anything on Instagram and you guys sent in a bunch of questions. Thank you so much for that. So I'm just gonna head right into it. I've tried to theme it a little bit. So today it's gonna be all about Instagram and being self-employed and making money and working with brands and along those lines. All right, so let's just dive straight into the questions. One question I got asked a lot was if I do Instagram as a hobby or a job, and the answer is it's my job. So I earn all my money at the moment through collaborations that I do on Instagram. And another question was, how did I start my Instagram and how did I get into photography? And yeah, here, Bella, there. So I started back in 2017 and originally was actually meant as a sort of marketing channel for the knitwear I made at the time. So Kutovakika actually in Finnish means knitting Kika. So Kika, that's what I'm called, and Kutova is knitting, and then it's just sort of stuck with me. And so yeah, it started as a way to sort of find customers for these knitwears that I made, and then it sort of organically transitioned into me getting more and more into photography and really seeing the potential of sort of growing like your audience and getting really just like I guess swept away by photography in a sense, and doing self-portraits and creative stuff, and just seeing like all the possibilities that can bring you. So yeah, so I've been doing it then since 2017. In sort of March, April is when I started to really try to like post daily, and then I've been now sort of making money on Instagram since now like a little over a year. So like 2018, I think, beginning of 2018 is sort of when I did my first paid collaborations, and now beginning of 2019 is when I went like completely self-employed. So up until that I had a part-time job. I worked in a clothing shop in Other Stories, actually on Regent Street in London. So if you're ever in London on Regent Street, that's where I worked for the first months here in London, and but now I am self-employed. All right, yeah, so where are you from? That's also something many of you asked. So I'm from Finland, Helsinki. That's this little country up north. And before moving to London, yeah, hey, do you think there's gonna be more dreamies? And before that, or before moving to London, we lived, me and my boyfriend and Bella and Luna. Wait, you don't wanna come? Lived in Stockholm. Before moving to London, we lived 2 years in Stockholm, and I think that's why many people think I'm from Sweden, but I'm actually from Finland, Helsinki, but my mother tongue is Swedish, so like a minority of around 6% of the population in Finland speaks Swedish as their native language. So I'm not from Sweden, I am from Finland, but I do speak Swedish as my native language. I also speak Finnish, obviously. Okay, so this was something a lot of you wanted to ask. Could you tell us how you make a living from Instagram? How much do you get paid for sponsored posts? And also, do you actively get approached by brands or do you write them? So I make all of my money at the moment on Instagram, and I do that via sponsored posts. So basically, this can work like in a few different ways. So I've reached out to brands sometimes that I think would really fit. And quite often I will then get approached by brands, and that can either happen by they just write me an email and they have sort of a proposal, there's a brief, there's a budget, and of course then you sort of negotiate around that. And yeah, do you also want to give your advice here? And then the other way to do it is there's quite a lot of like these influencer platforms at the moment where you can sign up. So one, for example, I use is Whalar, and there you sort of make like your own little profile. You sort of name your sort of price for a photo, or if you want to do like a stop motion, what the price is gonna be, and then brands can find you over there. And there's like a ton of different platforms out there, and probably depends also a little bit in what country you're in. I feel like it's time for a little coffee break, don't you think so? Okay, let's go to the kitchen. All right, let's go and make ourselves a coffee. It's not too messy in the kitchen, that is good. Oh yeah, how I told you, by the way, we are going to move next week. That is so exciting, but I don't feel like I'm really... that is super exciting, but I do not feel like I am prepared really for it. Like, it just all went so fast. But my plan is to shoot a sort of the whole move and show you like the new place, and sort of, I guess, like vlog the whole thing, so I can, yeah, just share it with you. I don't know, I hope this video is not gonna be like too boring. I always feel sort of hesitant and think that people are not gonna be interested in hearing about like being self-employed and all these things. Yeah, so let me know, like, what do you think about this video, and is it stuff that you want to hear more about, like more of the details? Like, obviously this is sort of a like general one, and I'm not going into too much detail, also because it kind of freaks me out to share too much of that on the internet where everybody can see it. Alrighty. So somebody also asked, how can you afford to live in London? And I want to be completely transparent. I probably couldn't if I would be by myself, to be honest. So the reason we moved to London is my boyfriend got a very good job here, or a good job offer. And so he's actually 12 years older than me, and he started to work like straight out of school. So he's basically had like a 20-year career, and I'm completely in the beginning still. So yeah, he got this really good job offer. He asked, you know, what do you think? I said like, oh my God, yes, let's move to London. That's super cool. And a lot of my community is also in the UK. So that really sort of made sense from, yeah, I guess my point of view as well, like, and where everything is going. Anyways, I am super happy that I'm lucky that I get to experience this, because I could not do it by myself. So the way we do it, we usually, we don't split everything 50-50. Oh, you can see me. So we don't split everything 50-50, because that would be really unfair towards him, because then we basically would have to live like in some super small little studio, and you know, he's 42, so he's kind of past that in his life. So I don't know, we sort of make sure that it makes sense, the amount that I can contribute and he contributes. Yeah, because again, if we would split everything 50-50, it would be really unfair towards him and everything he's worked towards, that he couldn't sort of enjoy that. All right, let's go and finish on the couch. Finish on the couch? Let's continue on the couch. Oh yeah, how much do you get paid for sponsored posts? I think if that is something that you're interested to do, so I'm gonna try to give some advice. First of all, I don't think you have to be a huge account to make a living. I'm not a huge account. I'm sort of what you would call like a micro influencer, because I'm under 100,000. But I think what brands are now seeing the value with working with smaller accounts is that you have a completely different sort of trust and relationship with the people that are in your community. Because if you think about like really big accounts, and if you maybe comment and you're sort of really follow them, like how often will you actually get a reply for them? So it's more of a sort of fan and idol relationship, whereas in micro-influencing, it's more like sort of a friend to a friend. And usually, you know, a friend is somebody who you can trust. So that is really something I think the brands are looking for. And that of course means also that you, as the Instagrammer or influencer, have some responsibility, you know, to not promote, you know, things that you don't believe in. And I know there's a lot of controversy about this topic. I'm not gonna get into it so much. I think it's just something that everybody really has to make up for themselves. And, you know, is the money more important, or is sort of the authenticity and the ethics of it all, that you feel good about it? So just because you're like a smaller account doesn't mean, you know, you can still make like a good living from it. It comes really down to quality and also engagement rate. I will usually, negotiate it to a point where it feels like it makes sense to me. I know how much time will go into it, how, obsessed about the quality I am, and I often work a lot with Photoshop, so it really has to feel like good, and also for the brand, like they want you to produce the best work you can, of course. But yeah, that will vary, and sometimes the brand will come and they have sort of a set budget and number maybe in mind, and then it's just like for you to see like, okay, does that make sense? In the beginning, when you maybe haven't done so many collaborations yet, I would urge you, I think it's okay to do sort of more like gifted campaigns where you get the product and then you do the work, and then you can also build like a relationship like that with that brand. And I've heard some rules of thumbs that per 10,000 followers that's like equals $100 or pounds or euros. I think it depends a little bit, but that seems to be sort of a pretty good, like very sort of general ballpark of where we are. But that can really depend on the campaign. Sometimes it can be more, sometimes you can get offered less. So it's really, context will dictate that. And then somebody asked, how do you live a self-employed life and how do you work with brands? Well, I guess that's the same question. So yeah, I am self-employed. I work mostly from home. I work by myself. I take all my photos by myself. I do all my videos by myself. Everything is very much a one-woman show. Then I have my boyfriend, my partner. He, whether he wants it or not, he gets to hear a lot of my thoughts, and he helps me a lot with sort of some of this maybe more strategic things and the business side of things, because he has more experience with that kind of stuff. So that's like a really, really big asset, and that's been like a huge support. I don't think I know for a fact I would not have come as far as quickly without that. So I also think that's something we don't talk about enough, that if you would like to take the leap and maybe start a creative career, having somebody in your life that can support you, if that's a partner or maybe a friend or even your mom, that is super, super precious, and really, hold on to that because you're gonna need it. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got some advice and inspiration from this little chat. Next week, I'm going to do the part 2 of this Q&A series, and I'm going to share some advice and tips on, how to get out of creative ruts and how to stay productive and how to get inspiration for your photos. So stay tuned for that. If you haven't yet subscribed, then please subscribe and like this video if you liked it. Also let me know in the comments below if this is sort of stuff that you'd like to know more about. I always feel very hesitant. I'm thinking like this is really boring and nobody will care, but I don't know, if you got some value out of it, then I would really like to know. So yeah, see you next week, and have a good one. Bye!